It's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Prefer us trapped in melancholy with the wood ones of holly. Suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed sloppily. The paupers see this mockery and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet.
Sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful, friends. Welcome to Middle Path. It is Thursday night. It's that time again. If you are on YouTube right now, you're gonna get ditched soon, but you don't have to get ditched. It's free to go over to Rokfin right now. The link is right below you, and I'll remind you again before we cut out on YouTube. But I always like to say hi for a little bit, give you a little taste of Middle Path. Try to get you over to Rokfin. Really, I'd prefer if everybody was just on Rokfin all the time, but I still stream to YouTube because I don't want to ditch everybody on YouTube, really. So Rogueways will always be on YouTube too, as long as YouTube allows it, and we'll also be on Rokfin. So Thursdays are Rokfin only, but we'll be around for a second. So some exciting things before we jump into our Oracle Godshot ways of knowing, which is really the focus of tonight. We're going to talk about all the ways that you can know and you can get messages yourself. And I think a lot of people think that they have to rely on people like me or other people who do understand and feel more connected and sure about that connection and receiving those types of messages. But the truth is, you don't need anybody. You can do it all yourself. So we'll just show a couple ways and also get a couple messages tonight for everybody who's here and everybody who's participating. If you're here, you're going to get some messages. You're going to get something out of it. So stick around for sure. And there's even more reason for you YouTube peeps to hop over to Rokfin, where the party's at. What's up, Bad B saying hello in the chat. If you are around, feel free to say hello. I like connecting with you guys. Jenny B, what's up? I think I'll always call you Jenny B. Sorry if that's not appropriate. Ow, I hurt myself. I do that a lot. I'm a little clumsy. You know what I found out is that I have really poor proprioception. Proprioception is an awareness of your physical body. And what's interesting is I have, most of you probably know, really exceptionally severe scoliosis to the point where we had to do spinal, oh God, I'm missing the word. They had to put metal rods along each side of my spine to try and straighten it out more. It's still very twisted. And that has caused all kinds of problems in my life. This is why I have chronic pain and other things. But what I found out is that that level of scoliosis is almost always concurrent with very poor proprioception. It makes so much sense to me. What's up, Biggie Smollett? I hope you hop over to Rokfin with us. We're going to cut off YouTube in a second. But for now, I'm just sharing a few things before we jump into the way that you can know what your messages from the universe are and get some messages tonight as well. But this proprioception thing, it makes so much sense to me, right? Because I had this exceptionally traumatizing youth and childhood. And so I was often not in my body. I had disassociated from a very young age, and I learned how to do that very easily, as so many people who experience trauma do. And this is what PTSD is basically all about as well. All the times you disassociated from your body. And so, of course, you would have very poor proprioception, right? So I'm connecting all these things. It's very interesting. And so poor bodily awareness, which I prove to myself over and over again, even now, even after I've worked so hard to be in my body, and I do practices to be really in my body. I'm like, I can get in my body really easily now, and I can stay there pretty easily. And even now I still like bash into things. It's not clumsiness. It's poor proprioception. I'm not aware of my body. I'm aware of my mind. And I'm aware where my mind thinks it is. And my mind does not always think it's in my body, which is also true of people who are sometimes called dream workers or travelers or whatever you want to call us. We aren't always in our body. We're really good at being out of our body. And so that's part of why we can go traveling like that and get these messages. But anyways, it's all connected. So I just wanted to share that while I just banged my elbow, completely apropos of only banging my elbow. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys is today we got to see Steve Poikonen of Slow News Day. What's up, Steve? It's always good to see Steve. We only get to hang out with him once every few years, so it was very, very fun to be able to hang out with him. He just was in the Denver area doing some rallies for Julian Assange. We are big supporters of freeing Julian Assange and being aware of that tragedy that is his completely tyrannical, just unjust fuckery that has gone on in his life. I'm sure most of you are aware of that story. He's still in jail, and the fight for his freedom is still ongoing. And so Steve is a huge part of that movement and keeping that going. And so he was here in Denver doing a rally about that. And we weren't able to make it to that, but we were able to go see him today. So again, that was really nice to see Steve. And I wanted to share with you guys this picture, but I just didn't get it up soon enough. So it's not going to happen, but I just see these fucking angels in the sky all the time. They're birds to me, right? But they could also look like angels. So if you're in locals, you can go see it. I just posted it to welcome all the new people. And you tell me if you think it's a bird, an angel, or what, or if it's just like a cloud that looks stupid. So, and I'm just projecting onto it, which is always possible. But it was just nice. It's super, super thundery, hella lightning. Like, the thunder was like shaking the house earlier. And I'm like, I'm from Washington. I'm not used to this. So I still get really excited when we're here in Colorado experiencing all these much more frequent lightning and thunderstorms. I really like it. And so that's part of why we're doing the Lightning Oracle Knowingness episode today on Middle Path, and all of our practices will be centered around this Lightning Oracle God Shot method of getting messages in a way, and in some other things too along with that. So it all comes together. And another reason we're doing that again is because I hung out with Steve all day instead of preparing something, like the more in-depth things we usually do on Middle Path. But this will still be a very applicable, very helpful episode for anyone who doesn't already do these methods. The whole entire episode is going to be full of these types of practices through actually doing them together. So that's what we're going to do. What's up? Awkwardly Awesome in the chat. Nice to see you, Bad B. Oh, thank you so much for the tips. I really appreciate this. I really don't think people necessarily recognize that, if you're not supporting Rogue Ways on Locals by being a member there, if you're not supporting through Rockfin by being a supporter here, rather than just someone who gets to watch for free, which is probably a lot of people, if you're not on Subscribestar, or if you're not making donations, you're getting all this content just for free. So I really appreciate the tips as a way of giving back. If you find value here, sharing the value back. And you can also do that through PayPal or on YouTube through Super Chats. So there's so many ways to support Rogue. If you like what you see and you have gotten something out of it, then please do. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Bad B. And what's up, Randy and Courtney? Good to see you guys around. We also have Adeptus Astartes in the YouTube chat with Mateo and Biggie Smollett. Nice to see you guys. And if you are enjoying this episode of Middle Path so far, you're going to want to jump over to YouTube pretty quick here. We're going to cut the YouTube feed, so jump over to Rockfin. I don't know if I said that right, but go to Rockfin. That's where the show will continue throughout the night. It's free. All you have to do is go there. Just like YouTube, you have to sign in, of course. Just like anything, you have to sign in, but it's free. So go over there, just click the link. Mateo says, gonna be abstained. I don't know who you're asking if they're going to be abstained, or if you're saying you're going to be abstained, but it's possible that John McAfee, I always try to say his name wrong, it's possible that he was abstained. Supposedly, allegedly, he committed suicide in a Spanish prison, also awaiting what is probably trumped up in unfair charges for just being someone who speaks out. And this debate has been going on in Locals. I don't know if it's a debate. We all just kind of are trying to figure out what's going on, right? But there's this very interesting discussion going on about whether or not he, is because he's an insider and sort of obviously very wealthy and up there, and maybe he's in the club, so to speak. And so if that's true, did he even kill himself? Just like Epstein, was he just made to seem like he killed himself so that he could have this escape from whatever's going on and go disappear onto their private islands or whatever they do? That's a possibility. It's also a possibility, given how exceptionally wealthy he was, that he bribed a lot of people and had them make it look like a suicide so that he could get out of being extradited back to the United States. There's so many things that are possible, right? And who knows? What someone was pointing out is that his most recent Twitter picture was this double picture of like him and then this like cartoonish character, and the cartoonish character has like one eye covered and the purple coloring, which some people we have been associating with the end of the world programming. So there's that. And then Alex in Locals, if you're in rogue.locals.com, Alex is our resident numerologist. He was pointing out too that what if this is sort of the sacrifice to jumpstart the Cyber Polygon events that are about to start in July, on July 9th, I think it is, and do this whole cyber pandemic bullshit thing, which I'm sure is going to be just hellacious and fucked up, unless we're very, very good at changing our reality to the one where it's not hellacious and fucked up, and keeping our supplies, food lines, electricity, water, all that just flowing and turned on and good and abundant, which is what I'm visualizing. But what their plan is to really fuck everything up way worse than COVID did. And they've said that multiple times, that this will be worse than COVID. It'll be the next big pandemic and all that. And at the same time, we might see a lot of fallout from the experimental medications that some people are expecting via the SPARS document and other predictive programming type pieces, that fallout will start around October. Sadly, hopefully that's not true. Hopefully nothing happens, but we might see that at the same time that all of this is coming around. So there's a lot going on, and some people are saying maybe his death was sort of a sacrifice to, jumpstart that. Just like we see with all of their campaigns. They seem to have high-profile deaths going on right as those things are kind of about to get kicked off or getting kicked off. So that's possible. That's definitely possible. All of those things are possible. And we won't know for sure. But what we will know for sure is that we're going to continue to grow ourselves and make sure we are heading towards our own wellness and abundance as much as possible. So that's what we're going to continue to do. Also, no, I am not going to ask the Oracle about that specific of a question about John McAfee. But if we seem to get some information about that, then we'll notice that. What's up, Snake Jones over in YouTube chat? Nice to see you there too. And Rachel Munoz in the Rockfin chat. Nice to see you guys. And so there was one more thing I wanted to comment on. The building collapse in Florida. Supposedly a sinkhole opened up and the building fell, and in free fall, a lot of people said it reminded them of the towers falling in New York, and we know those were in free fall demolition style. And so this one seemed that way too, and there was maybe flashes of light coming from it that made it seem like it might have been planned and executed that way. But I also want to just mention that it's very likely to, or very possible, I should say, that sinkholes actually do open up, and when they do, they are absolutely sudden. And so if a sudden sinkhole opens up, it is possible that a building free falls. And so I just want to throw that out there, that it is absolutely possible that building did free fall into a sinkhole, and it's also possible it didn't. But I just don't necessarily see any reason why they would take out a condo. Generally, their false flags don't actually kill a lot of people, and this seems to possibly have. So I don't know. I just let's give our love to all the families and people who are still lost and are unknown, and let's hope that more people come out of this okay and alive, and we'll just keep our minds open to see what might be happening with that. Adeptus Astarte says people on 4chan are monitoring McAfee's Ethereum wallets, and they're sending hundreds of transactions per second. Interesting. That could be from somebody who has gained control of them in his absence, and it could also be him still alive. So yes. All right, so if you're on YouTube right now is your chance to jump over to Rockfin, where this stream will continue, and you may in fact hear the last minute of this show over again because it is a little bit offset. And so we hope to see you there. The link is right below you directly to the stream, or you can always go to rockfin.com/rogueways and then find it from there. It's the pinned episode for tonight, and it's free. And all you have to do is create an account if you haven't yet. And if you want to become a supporter, you get access to all my exclusive content and everybody else's who is on Rockfin who you decide to follow. All of them for that one small price. So if you do decide to support, you can, but you do not have to. It is free otherwise. And I will see you guys there. Goodbye, YouTube. Mwah.